Hello, hello, hello. See, I got a new headset. I'm wearing a new headset today. The question is, are you able to hear me speak? Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? It's showing that I got juice to this thing, but I've been playing around with this thing for hours trying to get it to work. Yep, I've had to plug it, unplug it, do it several times before I was able to get the computer configured right. It's just a little bit more difficult to do this when you're working in the cloud. What do they call that? In the clouds, when your head's in the clouds. Ah, I had to call a friend of mine over who graciously gave up his time to come over. Dan's having some kind of a crisis. I got to go over there. He's a whiz. No, he whizzes. Hence the toilet, right? Why is it called the toilet? That's because when we're all done with this live stream, we're just going to flush it. I think somebody already commented on that, right? Who was that? Crystals? Yeah, that's it. That's it, Crystals. Once we're all done with this live stream, we're just going to flush it. And so, welcome to In the Toilet with Dan, or Sitting on the Toilet with Dan. Because see, you never can see me below the waist. Anyway, also something else. It's been a busy day today. I had this going on. I went over to Green. Really, I didn't plan on making any changes for tonight's live stream, but these were sitting on the shelf over there, Greenware, because these are gamer. This is gamer equipment. What do they call it? Red Dragon. And apparently, if you're in the Philippines, you know Red Dragon. But I couldn't get this thing configured to work right for a while. And then I called a buddy of mine up and he came over and he helped me with it. But also, while he was here, I was showing him all the other stuff I wanted to do. And so we were able to configure the sound card, or what's it called? The soundboard, is that what they call it? So you know how they sell the V card, you know, the V card. Why do they call it a V card? I always wondered about that. But it's a sound. It's basically a place where you store your sound bites, a soundboard, that stores your sound bites. So I went online and I watched a few YouTube videos and I learned how to download a sound card or download the board from the internet. A couple programs that you need in order to make your sound bites work. Because I didn't want to go out and buy a sound card, a soundboard that I know would most likely only last a week or so, especially if you bought it at through Lazada. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry about I didn't mean to I didn't mean to say Lazada is doesn't sell quality product. Of course they do. Doggone it. Everybody knows that and they deliver so quickly, right? I just didn't want to spend the money. I didn't want to spend the 20 bucks. If you were able to do this for free. And so we figured out how to do this for free. By the time he came over, I had already downloaded most of the programs. I downloaded the control board, the controller, and I also downloaded a few of the soundboard bytes through what's the name of the website called Voicey. Now apparently Voicey's used a lot on TikTok and in videos and things like that. I had no idea. Menke, how are you? LNL is in the house. Crystal's Adventure Anime. What do you say? I saw that Nicole stopped in to say hey today. Sek is here. Girly Sen is in the house or close by. 6 million people are here. Charmaine, don't squeeze the Charmaine. Ay, 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 ay. Anyway, RD Vlogs. Who else stopped by? Nicole, God Repairs. Diosa, Mariana is here. Or she stopped by to say hi. So I see commercials running. Teres is here. Tedis. Teres. Maria. Gracia. Gracia. Maria. 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 Gracia is here. Rona. Assis is hanging around somewhere. Shaney Rasa. Abby G. Now, Abby, is it ABG? Because I saw someone pronounce somebody's name that way. ABG instead of Abby G. Elmira or Elmira. Elmira Aquilana. Elmira is here. Or she was here. Of course, the incomparable anime is always nearby. Isn't that true? God Repairs. Leah and Layla Vlogs. Very kind of you to hang out with me. Menke, always a pleasure. So anyway, the story was I didn't know. I learned all this stuff today about how you configure the board and then how you go in there and set up your own soundboard in Voicey. That once it's all set up, you could use on video in videos, TikToks, Facebooks. I'm going to be cranking this thing up. You know, I know it's unbelievable. You have a bunch of old guys like me out there, and older women. They're making a name for themselves right here on their YouTube channels and on TikTok. Yeah, they're doing some funny stuff. What else do we what else do we have to do? You know, I mean, what else is there to do? We're retired and inspired, and we want to share that inspiration with you all until the game. Where did that come from? I don't even know if you could hear the sound bites. Griselda's here, Chrissy Mama. If you could hear these sound bites, would you be so kind as to give me a thumbs up or say, yeah? Yeah, it's a new headset. I got it at Greenware. You know Greenware. But if you can hear those sound bites, speaking of God, listen to this one here. I love that. I promise to be good. I promise to be good. Are you guys are you guys hearing any of this stuff or did I not configure this correctly? Just because I can hear it coming through my headset does not mean that you are able to hear it. So, okay, I got a smile. That must mean that it's working. I'm glad. I'm glad because I didn't want to pay all that money for that sound card, and then just have it go belly up a few weeks later. You know how they send you that the vlogging uh package. You get a couple of mics, you get the you get that uh, sound card, and the sound card lasts a day, and then it blows up. You see smoke coming out of it. Bruce Davis is here. That was a nice chat we had the other day, Bruce. Yesterday evening, Philippine day and time. Mike Married is here. Good morning, the amazingly beautiful Minnie. Well, it's amazing that she's with me anyway. And her American Asawa, that would be moi. Newlyweds, only married for about 20 years, and she's probably going to kick me out of the house sometime soon and take all my money. Hilarious, hilarious. But anyway, it is kind of funny. Uh, but anyway, hum. That's what went on today. And plus, we still have the guys working, putting the wrought iron skeletons together for the supports, for the column supports. And we got to go spend about $200 tomorrow, American money. We got to go and spend that. How much is that in, what's $200 in American money? What is that? 10,000 pesos. We got to go tomorrow to the hardware store. We got to get 30 more sticks of number 16. But they have 6 of the columns already done, which is cool. 6 out of 15 are already finished, and they still have to be painted. They're going to put the rust proofing primer on there so that, if it takes a little longer for them to approve the plans, they won't rust away out there in the back 40. We got tarps. We got them covered in tarps. Trying to think of what else I was going to talk about today that is that would come into this category of crap talk. Oh, I know, I know. We found this at the DIY, always low prices. DIY, LA baby. But look at the date. It says since 2013. And I was wondering about that. Okay, so you have LA, which I like, because that's where I was born and raised. And then you have 2013. And everybody here knows what happened in 2013, right? You had Typhoon Haiyan, which changed the lives of many, many people within a heartbeat. Within a heartbeat. Lives were lost, people were displaced, thousands of them, all across this great country, these 7,000 plus islands known as the Philippines. And so that's interesting that they were to put that happened on November 8th, 2013. And look at this. I don't know if you can see Los Angeles since 2013. What? What does that mean? And Mike saying hello, good evening, the amazingly wonderful mom Crystal and the Asawa of Mark, her guapo boy toy who works tirelessly. Boy toy, that's funny. Together for their 12 children. And Hop, their one-legged chicken who requires an artificial leg. And that's because someone in the neighborhood got hungry. And they would not be denied their lunch. And so there you go. Bruce Davis in the house. Canadian Mike is here. Yay. There you go. Cheers. Cheers. And so anyway, I know there was something important I want to talk about. Oh yeah. So a couple things, that falls under the category of toilet talk. And so you could call it trash talk, I suppose, but it's 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 kind of like uh, it's pretty interesting anyway. You'll understand when I start talking about it. So I love the GPT. I don't know if many of you are using it, but you could ask it all kind of questions, and there's been some interesting videos going up. Maybe a few of you have seen them, where they test that bad boy out. So I got curious. I just started asking all kinds of weird questions, right? Mike says Dana got attacked by a raccoon the other day. It came at me 3 times. Lucky I have a cane. Wow, you are lucky. I'm telling you. I don't know. Maybe it was a rabid raccoon because generally aren't they afraid of people? I mean, don't raccoons usually run the other way when they see something a little bit bigger than they are? And so it's unusual and out of character that they would launch an attack. And so it probably was rabid, probably had rabies. But it's a good thing that you got away. Some of them are huge. Some of them are really big. I mean, they are scary. So yeah, normally they would go the other way, but this one came towards you. And well, sometimes if their youngins are close by, they'll they're they're protective of them and they'll attack. So it's quite possible that their nest was close by, the nursery was near, and something like that. Animals are, they get pretty defensive when they got young ones around. And so that could have been, or it just could have been a rabid raccoon. So I'm glad that you didn't get hurt. That would have been terrible. Would have been terrible. You would have had to go. You would have had to get the rabies shots and all that stuff. That's just so inconvenient to have to go through all that. It really is. Really inconvenient. So I'm happy that you were able to fend for yourself by beating the thing with a cane. You probably carry you're probably carrying around a real heavy, whack 'em stick, right? I mean, a persuader, right? You come near me, don't you dare challenge a man with a cane. That sort of thing, right? There's got to be something interesting. Let's see. I want to talk about that. Oh, I started putting things in chat GPT just to see what kind of answer I would get. So one of the things that caught my attention was that so I asked it. There's a whole bunch of videos on TikTok and stuff, YouTube and other places, and they're talking about what you took video. Oh my! Oh, you poked it in the face, and did it cry? Do raccoons cry? Did it turn and run away really quickly after you poked it in the face? That's right. They'll make adobo out of the raccoon here in the Philippines. Yeah, that's lunch. That's right. Finger licking good. That's lunch here in the Philippines. Roadkill. Have you noticed that you don't see roadkill, Mike, here in the Philippines that often? Why would you let good meat like that go to waste? It took 3 times to scare him off. It was a battle royale. Were you hitting them with the what side of the cane were you hitting them with? Did you just like pick your cane up and start? You know, I would have liked to have seen that on video for sure. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I hope it never happens to me. I I have those animal fears, right? Snakes coming out of the commode, coming out of the toilet. No, thank you. No, I always have to look down there in the toilet before doing my business in the morning, if you know what I mean. The top you'll put on YouTube, okay? I mean, I'm always looking around. I have my head on a swivel. I'm looking around for the animals. We got monitor lizards here. We got monitor lizards that live in the lot next door, and they only come out at night. They're nocturnal, right? They come out at night. Well, no, they're not. Probably they're not nocturnal animals, but these come out at night because every once in a while you could spot them on the cam, on the wildlife cam. Chris saying, sneaky snake in the toilet. Those sneaky snakes in the toilet. Yes, indeed. Yeah, they make their way into the septic system, and then they show up. uninvited. Yeah, that would be interesting to have to explain to a doctor how that happened. All right, we'll see you later, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. So, we were going to talk about the sun in the sky. That's what I want to talk about. The sun in the sky. So, a lot of videos, right? On TikTok, especially, but also on YouTube if you want to go scoop them up. And they're showing their videos that are saying things like the sun is in the wrong position in the sky. The sun is rising too early, it's setting too late. There's something wrong, And so I think they're trying to connect it to Revelations, when the world starts coming to an end, But listen, I don't really think the world is coming to an end, but there are some really really weird things happening. Like for example, they can measure how fast the rotation of the Earth is, and it's speeding up. So the rotation is speeding up, and the core is slowing down. Right? The core isn't spinning, and that stuff ain't good. That that stuff can't be good. So can it? Can it be good? I don't think so. I mean, the whole thing is going a little wackadoodle. But could the Earth spinning quickly faster, it would affect the position? Would it affect the position of the sun in the sky? Maybe not, perhaps not. Would it come sooner or later, depending on where you were viewing it? You know you know, um, Einstein's theory, you know what I mean? You have two components or three components to it, you know? You have to have the person who's viewing it from the train stop, and then the person whose perception of it is different as they're making their way towards the train stop on the train. What do they call that theory, Bruce? What do they call that theory? Is it relativity? It's relative, to who's doing the observing and the position of the observer, where they're observing the incident from. And so I put that into Chat GPT. I said, okay, all these videos are all showing up. Oh, there's a movie called The Core. No, 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 I didn't know that. Maybe Hollywood is just preparing us for all this stuff, all the calamity that's going to be happening in our future, right? But so I put all this stuff in Chat GPT. I said, "What's going on?" And Chat GPT answers, "Nothing." Well, wait a minute. Nothing. Nothing. It's just where they're perceiving. It's their perception of, the sun is not moving. The sun is where it's supposed to be. But the seasons are changing. And also, there's also, things that would affect your perception of where the sun is in the sky. So it goes into about 4 or 5 or 6 different explanations as to why they may be they may be thinking or misunderstanding, right? Let's see. I've not of the core. What year was that movie? Oh, Bruce wants to go take a look. I don't remember it. We'll have to Google it. Okay. Well, so they're not believing it over the Chat GPT, the AI folks aren't believing any of this stuff. They're saying, "Oh no, everything is just fine. Everything is just fine." So that one turned out okay for me because I thought I was going to be having a conversation with Chat GPT where it could be mass hysteria. I mean, so many videos are showing up on TikTok and other places. I don't know if you guys. I mean, we're so busy doing our own. I hardly have time to pay attention, to go look the stuff up. But I have seen a few of them showing up on other people's vlogs, and so they're kind of connecting it to the Book of Revelation. I don't know. Maybe God repairs. If God repairs is still hanging around, or maybe one of you know what the reference is about how uh, in the cosmos things start to go crazy in the end times. The sun and the moon and everything goes cattywampus. It's not where it's supposed to be. So Jorlin Carambas is here. How are you today? Thanks for stepping into the chat. We appreciate it. So anyway, Minnie Snow, what do you know? Here you are. So I mean that worked out okay because I got the answer that I was seeking. No, nothing's happening. It could be mass hysteria. It could be that everybody gets tremendous amounts of views when they sensationalize things. Oh, so it's in the book. It's in the good book. Okay. Glenda Montero's here. Team Mary Kit. So it tells about the future. Well, that worked out okay in the case that they're saying that there ain't nothing wrong. They're imagining it. So I was happy with that. So, but I kept going. I kept going, asking it all kinds of different things because I was looking for something that I can sensationalize. I was kind of looking for stuff that I could use, and I didn't have much luck, but I did come up with a few things. I want to share them with you. I got to go to my email because I linked them to my email so that I could find them easily. But I got to open up my email. I got to share this with you. I don't know if any of you think about stuff like this very often. Uh, huh. Hmm? Ah, huh. I don't want to bore anybody in here really talking about this stuff, but I have a feeling I might. You know, I have to fact check myself every once in a while, Bruce. I have to fact check myself about certain things that I run into. And then every now and again, maybe 1% of the time, I'm wrong. No, no, Bruce, Glenda, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong more times than that. I have a little bit of a higher percentage of fail rate. It's supported also in the book of Daniel and some other books in the Bible as well as Matthew. Well, we'll have to talk about that sometime. But here was my next question. This is also a topic of discussion on social media. And I'm hoping that I can connect with the people that are here who have seen some of this stuff that's been going around, right? So I asked Chat GPT, are there underground cities in the United States? Because now showing up is, somebody, not just one person, but quite a few YouTube channels, not ours. We like the light subjects, but I got to fact check myself all the time. Okay, all right. Well, that's a good thing if you're doing that. It really is. Because I'll always admit when I got something wrong, I'll always admit it right away. But this other thing is going around about the underground cities, Bruce. You probably know, Bruce, what I'm talking about. Are there underground cities in the United States? It's loosely connected to what I just talked about, where they're talking about that the elites are putting together underground cities with transportation, underground transports connecting all the cities together in anticipation of the end times. Let's see, the Bible is more than Google or chat. Yes, indeed. Makes me chuckle. So now here you go. Yes, it's not a laughing matter, of course not. I wasn't saying that it was. So yes, there are underground cities. Now check this out. Here's how Chat GPT answers this. Yes, there are underground cities or underground networks in the United States. Ha! I got them, right? I'm like, ha! We got them. I'm going to call somebody, right? I'm going to call somebody because I hit a home run on this. Yes. And now I'm going to educate you about what's going on underneath some of these major cities, right? And so, as I was saying, though not in the sense of fully functioning hidden civilizations like you might see in a science fiction movie, instead, these are often historic underground networks. So these are places that have been there probably since biblical times. Eh? Right? God repairs. Yeah, are underground cities in any of the good book, any of the books? I'm just curious about that. Okay, so these are found beneath many older U.S. cities and were built for various practical reasons. But they aren't just underground, they're just not in U.S. cities, all right? They are located in a lot of different countries all over the world. Even, let's see, God Repair says, even the philosophers, scientists, they bow to the bottom. Yeah, some of them do. Some of them do. So now, so here's what they refer to, right? The thing kind of falls apart for me, man gay. For example, they started talking about the Seattle Underground. That is in the state of Washington. After the Great Seattle Fire of 1889, the city rebuilt on top of the old streets. They built on top of the old streets. The underground passages beneath an area known as Pioneer Square are now a tourist attraction. Now, it's interesting because this also happened in Sacramento when it flooded. We had the Great Flood. Sacramento is located at the convergence of the American and the Sacramento rivers. And when those bad boys overflow their banks, the water it just inundates the old downtown area. And so after a few times of this happening over a couple of decades, they got tired of it. And so they raised the town. They raised it above the flood level. And those old city, if you will, or that old town of Sacramento, you can take a tour of those underground tunnels that now are where the old town used to be, right? And so it's pretty wild. But let's talk about Portland. Uh, hmm, Portland's interesting. Portland's Shanghai tunnels in Oregon, a network of tunnels said to have been used for moving goods and for allegedly Shanghai or kidnapping people for forced labor on ships through the darker stories. It says, though the darker stories are debated. Ah, so they used the tunnels for ill-gotten gain. And Chicago freight tunnels in Illinois, over 60 miles of narrow gauge tunnels once connected buildings at downtown Chicago for freight delivery. They're now mostly abandoned. Wow. Wouldn't it be cool to go down there and build a house, build a shelter? I mean, it's already sheltered, right, from the elements. But you could go down there and probably build a whole neighborhood down there. And you probably wouldn't be facing the kind of power bills that we face here in the Philippines. But it gets interesting. Military and government facilities. Cheyenne Mountain, for example. Cheyenne Mountain Complex in Colorado. A deep underground bunker built during the Cold War to protect U.S. military operations. It still exists and remains operational for certain functions. Huh. I wonder what kind of certain functions are going on underneath or inside of Cheyenne Mountain. What do you suppose they're doing in there? And then the next one they talk about is Raven Rock Mountain Complex in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Maryland border, also known as Site R. Dun, dun, dun. This is a U.S. military installation used as an alternative Pentagon during emergencies. So that's where we'll find them. Let's see the next point. They're talking about modern underground developments, and here they're talking about subterranean malls and walkways in cities like Houston. Some people might say Houston. Let's see, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Montreal, Canada. Where did Mike go? Mike's gone. Mike's gone to breakfast. But listen, he's in Toronto, right? He's not in. He's not anywhere near Montreal. But I've been there, and so I know what they're talking about. They have extensive underground walkways, and trust me when I tell you that I actually have been drunk a few times underneath there, finding my way and getting lost in the tunnels underneath the streets of Montreal. That was kind of nice, actually. You know, that was actually kind of nice because they have the underground cafes. You know, you just kind of make your way. I didn't even know where I popped up. You know, I just could pop up anywhere in a city. I have stories to tell about when I was woken up by a Canadian mounted police officer on his trusty steed. Yes, he was mounted up there. He was tapping on the window of the car that my friends left me in. And are you okay, sir? Oh, they're very nice people there. I thought, anyway. If you ever get a chance to get to Montreal, you'll love it. I really enjoyed it. You also have underground houses in Nevada, Arizona, and other desert states. In order for them to, they build them partially underground so they could regulate temperature, basically, so you don't expire from the heat. So the U.S. doesn't have underground cities in the sci-fi sort of way, sec desker, deser or desker. They got them. What I just talked about. It's pretty fascinating stuff, right? It's pretty fascinating stuff. And so now, that's the kind of conversations that I have with Chat GPT. But you know what's interesting? Anytime you guys want, you just throw something at me and I'll spin it. I will spin it some kind of way. I will send that over to Chat GPT and I'll get an answer. You know, I might ask the question 5 or 6 or 7 different ways. You know, trying to confuse it, you know, to see if it'll give me the answer that I'm seeking. Okay, so now let's get serious. As though we haven't been thus far. Let's talk about something else. But I've got to find it. I've got to find this article. Boy, I'm lost. I've lost. Uh, uh, this is interesting because I've been fact checking myself about the. I think I messed up. I think I don't have the information. Maybe I do. Maybe I group this into a whole bunch of different questions. Okay, so Remember, I've been talking, or I like to talk about the Philippine economy. I don't like to talk about politics so much, because what happens here is none of my business. But I'm always talking about one of the reasons why we moved here, aside from the fact that Minnie is Filipina, which played a very big part in the reason why we came here. But I would be here anyway, in any case. So, I'm always talking about the potential of the Philippines for economic growth. And so I posed a few questions to ChatGPT about the Philippines being this emerging economy, or this emerging uh, nation. And this is what it had to say, right? It says the Philippines has the potential to become an economic powerhouse. Hey, we've heard that before, right here, right here. Good evening, Tim. Let's see, that's right, Dan. We agree. Yes, that's right. We're on a quest. Tim is in the house. Yeah, Bruce, I'm glad you're still with us. I thought you might be interested in this, right? The Philippines has potential to become an economic powerhouse in Southeast Asia, but whether it will actually emerge as one depends on how it addresses key challenges. And here is a clear and balanced view. This is good because I like clear and balanced views. First, it talks about the thing I'm always talking about, and I love seeing this, right? Because sometimes I just make stuff up out of my head. I mean, no, not really. I mean, I read articles and then I'm giving you, you know, what I've learned, but impromptu. It's very seldom is it organized, but I like it when it's organized this way, and then it matches what I've been saying. It says reasons for optimism, strengths and opportunities. And number one is ta-da, demographics. Young and growing population, over 110 million people with a median age of around 25. Underneath that, subpoint, growing middle class. I talked about it yesterday. Rising domestic consumption is a major driver of gross domestic product. Yes, unfortunately it is. Right. I think there was a time when I first started coming here, I was thinking to myself, man, the Filipino people, they're minimalist. They take advantage of they take advantage of, you know, uh, let's say, small houses, just enough furniture that makes sense. They don't buy into the keeping up with the Joneses philosophy. Perhaps it's because by personal choice, by culture, or because they simply can't afford to. But this is a key point that I've been talking about. The growing middle class, rising domestic consumption is a major driver of gross domestic product. And up until recent years, you guys have enjoyed using cash. I mean, we all have enjoyed using cash for making purchases, whether it's a minor or major purchase, we use cash. And so I was saying that Minnie and I were debt free, and I believe that most of you are also debt free. And so that means we're participants in a cash only economy. I know we have some. Bruce, I love them because they last forever. So I've got the whole living room. Bruce, eventually you'll get over here and you'll see, we got a whole living room of traditional furniture, which means wood chairs and wood benches with nice, comfortable padding on them. So, but here, the undertow here, or the unspoken thing here is the fact that people are buying, they're consuming things, and they're an emerging middle class occurs, sometimes above even their own economic means, which means that they create money. And how they create money is by buying things that they can't otherwise afford to pay with cash on credit, which I don't think is such a great thing, but probably will come. It'll be a big player in the economic growth of the Philippines, I do believe. Even though I could sit here rant all day long about why you shouldn't be doing it, I cannot stop it from happening. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about number two. Their second point, ChatGPT, is the services sector strength. The business process outsourcing BPO industry is a world class operation here in the Philippines, second only to India. Yuck. Tim says he doesn't even have a credit card. What did Bruce say? Bruce made a comment. What did Bruce? What did you say? I got to go back and look at it. Dan, I love the wood chairs and wood benches, and I love them too. But my back hates it. Well, we tried to do our best, Bruce. We tried to do our best. We put those cushions they sell over at the DIY. We put those on
So
those benches.
I I uh I have two. I just told Tim's. I don't know if you've seen my comment. I've got two cards. I did not use. I mean, I used the second card to buy my plane ticket to go back, but I
Right.
had to pay that off as soon as I got back over there. About 15 days later, I had no choice but to put half of it back again out of my savings that I got, because I don't want to use that one unless I absolutely have to. I've got one
Gotcha.
that I can blow to the wind. It's not as much as that one. That's what I worry about because that's just me. Because you, Tim, and a lot of these people are retired. I still have to work online. I still have to do, like, check this out. Before I left, Dan, my dad, I was running his company. I was no boss. I was just running it. Literally, my dad said, if you want to work online, it's okay. But if if like if you miss, like, here's the thing: if you miss like 2 or 3 consecutive days, I have to cut you off.
Hmm.
And I told him, no, no, don't worry about that. And he says, for one, you have to work at nighttime for 5 hours. If you can't do that, then I'm cutting you off. And my dad, I love my dad. My dad's great. But literally, that's what my dad said. You want to work online? Sure. I love that you can go over there. You got a family. Do it. But if you're not here 3 consecutive days, you ain't getting another dime from me.
Okay. You gotta love the fathers. I'm telling you. Sounds a lot like
Oh,
mine.
yeah. Oh, he's old school.
Sounds
He's
a lot
like
like
he's
my
like
dad.
he's my let's see. My dad's gonna be 72. But yeah, no, he's literally he doesn't care. Like, literally, I don't think my dad would. But there comes a thing where we as men, like, you get an opportunity. Like, I got this opportunity. Otherwise, if I didn't have this opportunity, I'd have to sit here and go to work and go to work and go to work, and then just go on a vacation. I don't want to do that. I
Right.
can't afford. I can't afford, even with what I make. I can't afford, literally. Tim, we met Tim at uh what was it, at Tim Hortons. Um, we went and had coffee, and he met my wife and stuff. And I don't do nothing. I don't help her. She does her own thing. I don't help her
Well,
for one. I
did
I
you?
can't,
Did I
I
hear
don't help
you?
her.
Did I hear you correctly? Did you just say you met Tim at Tim Hortons
Well,
and
not Tim
not a
Hortons.
dunk
Yeah,
and not a
my
Dunkin'
my
Donuts?
dad. What is it? It's the we met Tim at
Hmm.
not Tim Hortons, but uh what the heck's the name of that place?
Over there in
Sorry
the
about that.
mall.
Yeah, we
Over
met
in
in
the
the mall.
mall. Yeah,
Hmm.
I like that mall. That mall is growing like crazy. They got a Denny's there.
Um. So how since you've been there, I wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
How much has it grown over there in that part of the area?
It's growing like crazy, and it scares me. You know, they got volcanoes over there. They got the one that
I
blew its lid, but now you've got our military moving back in there. You got the
yeah,
Philippine military moving back in there. Mertz is here. I'm Mertz, and I mean they. People tell me they saw Tim. Have you seen any F-16s flying around? I mean, someone told me that someone told me that they saw some F-16s flying in the Clark. I mean, that's pretty. It's been a
really?
long time.
Wow,
It's been a long time since they moved some.
no joke.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And so it's kind of really
I didn't see
exciting, I
some
think.
military. I didn't see any. I didn't see any planes or anything. I seen some military when we were going out towards her province, um, and then uh, I, it's weird because like the police and stuff, like they're really like really nice. They're really cool. They're really laid back people.
Yeah.
They hardly ever came back into her province. So when we ended up taking the boat one day, um, we were going on, and a Filipino guy was getting taken off, and so I was kind of just sitting there, just not saying a word. And this sergeant comes up to me and goes, "Hey, how you doing? Where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm from the U.S." And he says, "What are you doing over here by yourself?" I said, "Oh, my wife's right here." "Oh, you have a wife? What's your name?" All the it was
By
really
the
nice. He was a
way,
nice guy.
yeah, yeah, that's right. By the way, though, I'm hearing that it's looking a little slow there over there in Angela City, over in Pampanga these days. So that's what
Really?
I keep hearing. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I'm hearing that. Yeah, that they're not seeing the tourists. Well, it's rainy season, so it's going to be
Well,
slow, but
but I think
slows
I
down
think
a
that
lot.
goes right. Thailand or any of those places. I keep hearing they say you get all these videos that say that it's slowing down, and then now you got the one thing at the borders of there. So like I don't know. That's going on. So I don't. Me personally, I like the rainy season. Listen, I'm from Oregon, man. It rains here. We get what about 2 months of summer. That's about it. Here it rains after that. And we get lots of rain. So like I was used to
You know,
that.
they got
You know.
they got that train, they got that commuter train that they're building there, and once they're done with that, I mean, you talk about Tim is saying right here, SM Clark has almost doubled in size since 2012. But once that train gets in there, you'll be able to commute to work all the way to Manila from Pampanga, from Angela City, if you want to. I mean,
So
it'll make sense.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I
I
think I'd
mean, so
rather be
that
on a
train,
train than one of those buses.
yep. And so I think tourism has tanked in Angela City, and I do believe Tim is correct about that. It's tanked. I mean, it's getting bad there. I mean, really bad.
Wow.
But here in Bye Bye City, it's growing like crazy. And I mean, you see a new face every day. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this is a place where people come to settle down. Maybe this is one of them places. But I
So
see a new
I had
face almost every single day.
I had somebody tell me because I've never been there where you're at, and I had somebody tell me like, "Oh, that would be a nice place to go." And I said, "Yeah." I said, I've never been there because I've only been to a couple of places, in the Philippines, because I was out in the province like most of my time. But a, a guy's like, "Yeah, I would like to be in just a small place." Now I don't know if it's small or not because I ain't been there. So is
Oh,
it a small place or is it a
well,
is
it
it a bigger
was.
place?
Yeah, it was at one time, but it's grown so
Oh,
fast. We probably have something like half a million. We probably have half a million in the city and the surrounding area. So I mean, it's starting to grow pretty fast.
And that's the thing is there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of people in a city. But the one thing that people will realize, just like it does in the states, when you got a state that has a population that's has a lot of people, prices go up. So Filipinos and stuff, stuff will go up. The higher, literally the higher, and I believe this. That's just me. What I believe, at least in the city I'm in. When I moved here, let's see, I got this place from my dad. Um, let's see, it'll be 27 years in in September. So 26 years ago, this place here literally had like farmhouses around right here in the city. Had farmhouses that got burnt down. Um, Land in different little areas here. And now, when you go up the street, you got a million cars coming all you at once. We never had that years and years ago. You would probably be the only, maybe one or two cars you might see out here. Now you've got like 150 cars coming at once. It's crazy, man, because and again, more people that live here, and I've always believed this. The more people that live here, the more prices are going up here where I'm at, big time. And that's another reason why I want to be in the Philippines is it's affordable. It's not that somebody told me, well, if you can live here, you can live there. Well, I can live here, but I'm not gonna be living paycheck to paycheck. And as soon as I get paid, I have to pay everything. I get my
Yeah,
food.
that's what I
I'm
keep
literally
telling people it's like. It's not any fun. You get on that hamster wheel, you can't get off. But speaking to that about the growth, about uh, I mean, we must have 10 or 15 houses going up around us being built all of a sudden. And so,
for that. I mean,
I
that's
mean,
a good thing.
it's just booming. It's booming like crazy. But I I didn't think it was going to happen as fast as it's happening now. I thought probably 5 years. This neighborhood, and what's going on is you just have an emerging middle class, and the people want places to stay. They want their own houses. The thing
Right.
is that you would think that they're foreigners that are moving in, and some of them are, but mostly they're middle class Filipino. So in our neighborhood, we have government workers mostly. So they're employed in local government. They're employed in the national government system, and that's what makes up our neighborhood.
Yeah,
And so
that's
we're going to have
Dan's
more
next
of that.
Dan's next job. Everybody, he's in the neighborhood. That's why he moved to this neighborhood because he's thinking
Well, we did actually. We
about
did, but
going
there
to
were no
college.
houses there. Yeah,
Dan's gonna.
I mean, I didn't know. They told me what it was all about. They said, "Oh, we got to move it into this neighborhood because this is the neighborhood where everybody's going to be." And I
Right.
didn't know what they were talking about. But then I started looking around, and people started building these palaces. I mean, the Americans like to build monuments to themselves. I got to tell you, we didn't do that. But I mean, you have a lot of foreigners that they like to whatever they couldn't afford in their country. Not only Americans, but whatever they could not afford to build in their country, they came over here, and they, you know, made their dreams come true.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's what. Okay, that's what they always say about here, right? Like about an American dream. I've been hearing that so much lately, and I'm sitting there thinking, how can anybody have an American dream here with the way the economy's going and the prices are going up and stuff? But
No, no,
that
we're
that's
we're living the American dream here in the Philippines.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I want. That's why I want
I
to.
mean,
That's
that's
why I
what
want.
we're
I
doing.
want
I mean,
there, and that's
yeah, I
that's
mean,
literally that's what we're doing. All of
that's what
us,
you
all
get.
to the
That's what
point.
you get. And they're not running out of real estate at the moment. I mean, it might happen someday, but it just doesn't work the same way it does in the states. I mean, uh,
Do
it's
you guys use
because I
solar?
think I think it's because it's the way the family. culturally the way the families operate. You know,
Right.
the idea that if you don't have a place to live, you know, in your family, you know, you come over, you build your house on their land, you know, and so everybody takes care of each other. Or you move into their house and they expand it and they accommodate you. And so there
Right.
isn't, you know, and so there's a tremendous oversupply of condos and houses in the major cities, that but the real estate prices don't decline. I don't really know. I don't really understand what the lever is. I really don't understand because it's not based on supply and demand. You know, but that does have a lot to do with why things aren't going crazy here in the Philippines in terms of real estate the way you and I understand it living in the United States.
Right. Yeah.
Tim is saying I don't complain about my house that I rent because it's probably very reasonable. As a matter of fact, I really don't see why a person would have to buy or build a house here because there's so many opportunities to rent. And so, I mean, uh, I'm not sure exactly why we did it. Oh, probably because I just wanted to make sure that when I leave this planet, that Minnie is all taken care of and her family's taken care of, and that was the main objective. And now the second house we're building is to generate income stream. You know, that's the other part of the plan.
It- I mean, I agree with Tim. Um, I was in the province for a while, and I was getting used to, getting used to that, and I'm literally now used to it. But I'm used to also, like, I love people, but when you've got so many different people coming in the hours all through the night, day and night, okay,
That happens.
and I'm not into and literally my wife even said, I don't want you, like, I don't want you to be out in the sun, please, get by the fan and everything. And I sat by the fan for probably, I don't know, it was 2 weeks. I was waiting because I had bought, her sister had an air conditioner that she didn't want to use that was brand new. And she's like, will you just give me, she's like, will you just give me $80? And this thing is nice. And I said, yeah, like I would have gave her, listen, I would have gave her a couple $100, honestly, if she really wanted that. Because I would rather be honest, and not like say, well, you're just giving me a good deal because I'm a part of your family. I like that. Don't get me wrong, but on the other hand, she's out there day in and day out, maybe making a couple thousand pesos in a day if she's lucky.
Hmm.
So like, I look at it a little bit different. My wife's like, yeah, just take it, and but no, literally, um, it's just what it is. But I ended up getting a place. Now this I'm not bragging about. I had a two bedroom that cost me $85, free water. All I had to pay for was the electricity, literally, and my food. And I was expecting to have to pay, around. I was going to give the lady, I think it was around 14,000. She says, "Oh no, you give me $85." And I said, "No, no." I said, "I'll pay you for the second month." She said, "No, you're a part of the family." And then I'm sitting here going, "Well, I could get in this mind, like, you know what? I could sit here and keep like saying, oh, I'm a part of the family. Maybe you could just give me cheaper." And I don't want to be like that. Obviously, that's not right. But when she got that, it was a nice little thing. I had an air conditioning in my room, in the guest bedroom that we used because we had the kids. Then the kids would come over on the weekends. So they had a great big wall fan, but it literally kept the place. It wasn't a great big place, but literally somebody goes, "Oh, you're lying." I said, "No, literally," and I showed him. I said, "It's $85." I literally, I said I couldn't believe it, but I had a bed, I had chairs, we could sit down on. You know, she gave us uh, an extra mattress for the kids when they came over. Literally, I was just getting it for myself to get away. That's it. just to get away. My wife was working. I just wanted to do my work, and it had better internet service there, so I could do my online work. And
Well,
literally, it was
that,
$5 there.
that you brought up the internet thing, and I'm telling you, I hear a lot of complaints about internet, but we've got high speed internet here. We've got fiber optic cable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's zooming. It's amazing. I hear people complaining, but we're running two
Oh,
internet.
I'm not complaining. I was out, but literally, the thing is they've got she's got so many people from her family that's on it, so it
Right.
started slowing it down.
Oh,
So, it wasn't that the internet wasn't good. Obviously,
right.
even being out there, I could have I can have cable TV. I can have the fast internet. But when you've got like 50 to 60 different people on it at once, it slows it down. So,
Oh, you know what?
yeah,
Here's how we took care of it. We put a second one in.
oh,
So
oh,
we got we
oh
got
my God!
two.
Now bring the second one up, and you know what? My wife's like, if you're good, and I wasn't complaining at all. I just said it's slowing down, and literally she says, "Well, how about you just go buy a second one?"
Well, we actually did that. We have both Globe and we've got PLDT.
Okay.
PDLT or PLDT. We have both of them.
Yeah,
Both of them
put a
are,
second.
yeah.
I have to put a second one in because literally, like, it's cool because like the only thing, I mean, it's really nice. Like, I'm surprised. Like, listen, I've met women that worked in my lifetime that couldn't afford nice places, or but they would buy whatever, even if it was just an apartment or whatever. I knew a couple of people that were single women that bought themselves a house later in life, but literally my wife, the one thing I always said is
Oh, so
that
bye, Minnie.
if I wanted
So
to fuck a girl, she had to have a job. I didn't care if she had a house or any of that crap. She had to have a job. That's it, so she could work. So I'm not just sitting here throwing all my cash every single second of the day to her, because they got to work just like I had to.
good man.
I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying. Listen, all my money goes to my wife. Listen, when we listen, from when I first landed and got money or anything, I literally put it in her. I put it with her. It was not even in my wallet. The only thing that was in my wallet was my cards. That was it. She took the money because I didn't know the peso. My luck is I might have gave a bottle of water. I'd have been that stupid guy that gave for a bottle of water that's like, maybe 40, 50 pesos, and I might accidentally get 1,000 pesos because that's just how stupid I am at times.
Oh, it takes a while to get used to the money. It takes a little while. Now my brain doesn't even think in dollars. It thinks in pesos.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It just everything's in pesos. And so I'll be the one standing there going, "What? You got to be kidding me! They want 50 pesos for that?" You know. I mean, what's getting really expensive here. Maybe I am getting charged a long nose tax, but lechon baboy. We got the two people that run the stands on the corner by Prince Mall on the
Hmm.
weekends. We go over there. They each cook up a pig, and you can depend on them to be there. But man, it's getting really, really expensive. I was telling Minnie that we need to we need to cook up our own pig. We need to start butchering our own pig because it's getting too
Start spending
expensive.
money.
Yeah, start
You might
saving
as well
some money.
spend a few $100 and do it yourself.
Yeah. So I mean, we have challenges, and you brought up a good point earlier, and that is that things are getting expensive here, just like any place, just like
Yeah.
any place in the world. But hey, I don't know where their inflation rate is. I know where the U.S. inflation rate is. It's running somewhere around 4%. It's running somewhere around almost 4%, maybe a tenth of a point shy of 4 points. But the true inflation rate is probably twice that. I mean,
Yeah, and but look on the you got to look on the bright side. and I even did this myself. I was thinking too, like we all, like none of us are rich, all right, but we know how to. A lot of us know how to maintain and manage money. That's what it is. That's one thing I can honestly say that I love about Judith. Okay, I literally, said, okay, when I first got, let's just go out. Like that's fine, but literally, she. It's not that she doesn't like to go out. She does. Any Filipino girl loves to go out to a restaurant and stuff. But the thing is, the real honest good ones will say, "Hey, let's cook." Because I love home meals. Dan, I know Dan loves them home meals. All right,
Sure
you
do.
know,
Absolutely.
any of us love home meals. But it just comes a time where you just got to, like I told even my wife, there's certain things. No, we're not getting it. We'll save together and we'll get that at another time. But literally, that's the kind of person that I envision myself with. I didn't envision somebody saying, "Hey, I'm just going to empty your pockets." Now, I did think that could happen. Not to say it couldn't, but I just got lucky. And do I have my little tributes and challenges? Of course I do, because I'm still learning. I'm new. I'm new. I'm literally still new here. But it's good because I love to learn. If there's something that I literally don't know, I'm gonna ask the people. I'm gonna ask my wife. All right. If for some reason they're not around and I see one of my friends on like Dan or somebody, I'll ask him. If Dan knows the answer, he'll give it to me. If he doesn't, he's not gonna give it to me.
Hey, did I tell you guys they were opening up a Bose coffee shop here and also a Starbucks?
Whoa, really?
Yeah, so we're
Oh
gonna
my
we're
gosh.
gonna have yeah, so that's a city, you know what I mean? I mean, you've arrived when Bose and Starbucks decide that they want to
Oh
come
my
in
gosh.
and do a build out in your town.
Agree, Tim. Always need to have a budget. You're absolutely correct, sir. Yep.
That
And that's
that's
one
where
thing that I always did. I always had to. It's like I could have just said, "Well, screw it. I'm just going to go start blowing money," and then I'd be like, it's not that I would have like ran out like that like within a year, but I would have basically screwed my wife, not me. I would have screwed her because it's for her. It's for us, but like Dan just said about why he has a second house or why he has a house. Period. It's to take care of his wife and his family, and that's what I'm about. That's what I want to do for Judith. I'm trying to make the best for her. It ain't always the best, but she accepts that.
Tim, for crying out loud, there's a couple of Bose right there in the mall. There's a
Tim's
couple of
going to be
Bose
going to
right
both.
there where you're at in the mall.
Yeah,
You got
Tim,
to
why don't
get
you
out
you could
for it.
start going? What
Of
is
course, there's
both? It's a
also
coffee shop.
yeah, it's a coffee shop. There's also a Starbucks in there too, if I'm not mistaken. But
Oh
anyway,
man,
Starbucks
what
is
do you think
actually
about
the best.
Starbucks? Tim? Well, what do
What
you
do I think
think? What do
about
you think
what?
about Starbucks? What do you think about Starbucks? Do you think it's affordable?
Oh hell no. That's why I'm happy. There's a Bose moving in. They're a little bit cheaper, you know. But I'll tell you, if we had a McDonald's, I'd be in McDonald's every day getting my coffee. But when we were in Cebu, this is what we love living. Why we love so much living here in Bye Bye. After a while, right? Every couple of months, we'll go over to
Mhm.
Cebu and then we'll load up on supplies. And so I brought coffee back from Starbucks the last trip, and I've been in
Oh
heaven
yeah.
ever since. So they've been brewing it. Here they've been grinding the beans and brewing the coffee for me. CBGB is cracking me up.
Oh yeah. CBGB, he's cool, man. Yeah. Ed, he's funny as hell. But yeah, I like CBGB. He's always been
CBGB,
a good funny guy.
brother from a different mother is what I'd call him. A brother from a different mother.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
he is a brother.
he Delta's been having a tough time of it, haven't they? CBGB. They've had a few
CBGB,
incidents.
come on now, don't start getting me freaked out. I'll be leaving pretty soon, man.
Oh no, no, listen, you're on a 777. Those things, that's a gorgeous plane, I'm telling you. I get on a 777 anytime, you know. 787s, I'm not so sure about these days.
Let me see
Airbus
what my last one was.
350, Airbus
Let's see what the last
350,
one was.
any
I
day of the
can
week.
remember.
Yeah. But
What was
anyway,
it? Let's. Oh, it doesn't say. I think I threw the other part away. Um.
here's dang, you went there, huh? You
Oh,
couldn't help yourself.
you want to hear something funny? So when I went last year, okay, and going into the new year, whatever it was, they gave me two tickets that had no gate numbers or nothing on it. They just gave, and I'm sitting there going, "What the hell is this? Some kind of fake crap? Like what the hell's here?" Literally, there wasn't the only thing it was on it was a damn seat number. It just had a seat number, no gate number, and I'm sitting there going, "Well, where the hell am I supposed to go?" So I went up and asked, and for some reason, I don't know, they just said, "Okay, it's down here. You gotta go down here and then take a right." And literally, I was up in Seattle, like sitting there going, "Where the hell am I supposed to go?" Because they always, I mean, at least um, when I came back, I had everything. I had the seat, the seat number, the gate number, and all that kind of stuff, so you could just look on the thing. But yeah, I didn't have none of that.
Hey,
And
well,
yeah, I
here,
was.
I don't know if that's any better or worse than the way they do it here, right? They'll give you a gate number, and then guess what happens? They'll change it at the last minute. So,
Yeah, yeah,
so it'll turn out it'll turn out to be clear across the other side of the airport. So, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
everybody's
yeah. I had that. I had that
stampeding
happen
to
to
the
me coming
gate.
back home. They told me to
So,
go all the way downstairs to go. It was when I was in Taipei, and they told
yeah,
literally I was told
but
to go all the way
do
to
you
the end
like
of B and
Taipei?
go downstairs.
Do you like Taipei? A lot of people tell me they like it, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of
Well, I
Taipei.
mean, oh, I mean, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. The problem I had was when I first went, when I was in San Francisco, man, and I walked from one end to the other, and just barely caught my plane. Literally, I had 2 hours,
That
and
is
it took
why
me
I
about.
don't like Taipei because that always happens when you got to
Yeah, I
fly
know.
through. It
Well,
always
yeah. I
happens.
mean, I could pay. I'm not sure how much the extra money is to go from Seattle to, because that's where I'm going to take a bus up to Seattle, and I'm going to catch a plane. But I'm not sure. It's not sure how straight to Clark how much it costs. I'll have to uh, check on the one. But I had already like when I was over there, I bought a ticket, and that's the thing is to come back. So it just saved me money anyways. It only cost me $500. I mean $579 to get back home. You know, but obviously now it was uh what was it 1,700
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
you just
something like
reminded
that.
me of something, right? Starlux is going into Ontario, California. Usually,
Yeah,
I'll fly into LAX, right? Using
yeah.
on Philippine Airlines on PAL. But now,
Oh,
when I
okay.
found out that Starlux is going into Ontario, that means I would have to fly through Taipei, though. That's the only problem. And so I keep thinking about it, going, man, it puts us right on the front doorstep, flying into
Yeah.
Ontario up the street from the mom's house. So I mean, wow, that's tempting. That's tempting.
I did see that. I did see that on their on the little TV and stuff they had. They were showing that they were going to be doing Ontario. So that's good. I have no reason to go to Canada. I mean, I don't know anybody there. Well, I mean, I know
No,
a couple of people.
I'm talking about Southern California.
Oh, Southern.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm talking about Southern California, Ontario, out there by Riverside.
Oh, so it's going. Okay. Oh, wow. So it is. It's going all the way that far. So it never used
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Okay.
Instead of going to LAX, it's going out to Ontario. Well, they're running a plane into LAX also, but also
Right.
into Ontario. So they must have a lot of demand because, well, Southern California has a huge Filipino population. People just don't want to fight that traffic. It's too scary, too expensive to go through LAX.
Tim,
You know,
I mean, I can't ask the airport for a handicap assistant type thing. They'd look because they would tell me I could walk. Like, so I mean, I wouldn't be able to do that. But I mean, for you, that's a good thing. I mean, I'm glad that they have, uh, stuff like that to help the, people that are older, because they shouldn't be having to walk, man, like that. That's crazy, man.
oh, so he's gonna fly through South Korea
Oh, he's gonna
on
go to
his
South
way.
Korea.
Yeah, South Korea, then Vancouver, which I've done. I've done the route through South Korea to LA. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done it, but I can't remember uh, too much about it. But I think it was all right. I don't. All I
I
can
thought you,
remember is
I thought Tim, I thought you lived in the Philippines. I thought you were a permanent resident. Or are you just going out to go fly somewhere?
I think that's his sister, right? That lives in Vancouver.
Oh, okay. He's going to see his sister.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
he's going to see his sister. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had to come back and help my dad. We had a total of 7 trees come down in the house, and only one when I was here, one that came down busted up my it's a gas stove I have. It's not it's a wood fire like thing how they have those thing, but it's gas. When it came down on the roof, it literally destroyed that. So that had to be taken off and on the rooftop, and I just got that fixed. But I've had trees come down like crazy here, and my
Wow.
dad, he just doesn't have the help anymore that he used to. Everybody that worked that worked there have all moved on and went to different places, are doing their own thing, doing their own businesses. So it's like, but again, it's okay for me because I'm like still young enough. But I told my dad, I said, I can't keep going back and forth all the time. Like we've got to figure something out where we can get some help for you because it just puts a wrench in man on you, like literally, like I'm telling you, man, a 10 hour, it's only 10 hours from Seattle to, which that's not really long. I mean, it's long for me. It's not really a long, but when you talk about if you pay the extra money to go straight to Clark from Seattle, that's 17 hours. So I need to be able to get off and be able to walk around. You can't really walk around that much on the
Well, I'll
plane,
tell you, I have talked to Minnie about making 3 or 4 stops on the way back home. Where we go into Taipei and do a couple of day layover, then jump back on the plane, go to Hawaii, do another, day or two layover, go hang around on
Yeah,
Waikiki Beach, and then and
there you
then
go.
head to LAX. That would be a little bit more of an expensive trip, but I probably
Oh
would be
yeah.
able to, to adjust to the timeline so it wouldn't take so much out of me. So we're thinking about that. We'll see how that works out.
Well, I'll ask him, Tim, for the assistance, man, because I know myself, man. When I first went down in San Francisco, literally, I don't know, like there was another guy that was heading off to the Philippines too, but literally, like him and I, literally, we were like, luckily got with like 10 minutes. Uh, thank goodness, because we went where they parked at. They were all the way at the other end. So literally, I didn't think it would take almost 2 hours to have to walk and all the way to the thing to catch my flight. Which is, hey, it's what it is. It's part of the living here, going to another world. But yeah, literally, we were like 10 minutes away. If we would have lost another 10 minutes, we would have lost our flights, man. But I'll ask him. If you said it doesn't cost anything, I'll just because I've already booked my tickets. So, but I'm just gonna look and see about maybe upgrading the thing to just go straight there. But if I can't, then I'll just go to Taipei, which is fine with me. Um, you know, I just do
I've
whatever,
been
do
Taipei.
whatever.
Oh my gosh, I get a pit in my stomach every time you say it. I've gotten lost so many times in that dang airport, especially
Well,
coming
that's
in
where
there in
I
the
got
middle of the
called. That's where I
yeah.
got. That's where I got called a pig in Taipei by a Chinese woman, and which is fine. Like I don't get upset about like because like yeah like obviously I know like uh you know um that I was overweight, but literally I walk so much, and then when I got to the Philippines, the wife and me were going to the mall every day to walk and have a coffee here and there and stuff, just going doing stuff, and literally being there in the Philippines, my health went from like being like crap here. All of a sudden, when I come back here and I had to see my doctor, I thought he was going to fall over or something because he's like, I can't believe it. He's like, you've done this. He's like, what? And I've never seen anybody so, which is great. Because people always said to me, "You'll never go over to the Philippines, Bruce. You'll just be just a slave worker." That's what I was told. And when you prove them wrong, and then you show up and you pull up on your camera and you go live, and you're like, and these people are like, "Huh?" I mean, what more can you do? They look dumbfounded, stupid because they just think like, I had to save up, man. I'm not like these retired guys that already have. I had to save up. I had to work. All right. These guys worked all their life. They had to save money so they could go and have a life over there. So when people like that are spewing like stupidity, and then you show them wrong, it's like it's a win, but I don't care. Like I don't care if those people believe me. If I'd have went, 2 blocks, it doesn't matter, because their opinion don't matter. But it's just funny when these people say that to you, and then you prove them wrong, and it's just like, wow, you're really there. You've never been there. Okay, I've never been there, but I'm right here right now. Here's the metal roof. Here's the palm trees outside. There's the sea.
I got to tell you, you're reminding me of all the crap that I used to take, that people used to say to me. Those are the people that they have their 2 week timeshare in Maui. They have the 2 week timeshare in Maui, and so once a year, after being beat up by their boss, they get to go sit on the white sandy beach in Maui for a couple
Right,
of weeks before having to come back to work. And I
right,
just laughed. I just laughed. I said, "Well, I just laugh at it, because we got the beach. It's a 10-minute walk that direction."
it is
you
hilarious
know,
when
yeah,
when
it's
when
pretty
they have
funny.
to go
Yeah,
on vacation. But right,
yeah,
I
exactly. It's
you got to listen. I wouldn't tell anybody. You got to push some of this stuff in these people's faces once in a while because, and you got to
every
laugh
once
at
in a
them
while
because
they were mean
yeah.
to me. They were so mean. They were so
Oh man,
mean.
I know all about the mean thing, man. That again, the one thing that my dad always said, it doesn't like words. If you're gonna let people make words hurt you, man, then literally like you're gonna have trouble in life. But yeah, like we're human beings. Yeah,
Oh,
do we
I
get upset?
did.
Of course we
I
do.
had trouble in life.
I did.
I
I did. A
had a
couple of
lot of
times I
trouble in
got.
life.
Oh yeah. But you you
But
you just
Bruce,
you
one
just
more thing
realize,
you're reminding me of. I got to tell you this story, right? There's
okay,
something else. I do have something on my mind that you're reminding me of, and that every now and again, right? Every now and again,
mhm,
somebody that I couldn't stand sends me a chat message, right? And I know dang well they're just checking to see if I'm still alive. See,
right.
they want to be the first one to be able to tell their buddies, "Oh, Dan, he went over to the Philippines and now he's dead." I swear to
Oh,
God.
geez.
Now that might be my inferiority complex. I'm not sure, But why in the hell would somebody that you couldn't stand, I mean, clearly we never got along, send messages to me, hi Dan, I just wanted to check in to see how you were doing. Well, life is great. How's it going for you? How's it? You still working in that cubicle, doing the 9 to 5? When are you gonna retire? Thought you should have enough years behind you. I mean, I pile it on, I pile it on, So I
Well,
mean,
that's but yeah. What you got?
we did.
You always
Oh,
got that.
oh, we did
I
another
had that
thing.
same thing.
Another related story. When we were in Thailand, right? So,
Okay.
gosh, I don't know who's listening to this. I might get in trouble for telling you this story, but I felt the same way when I was being urged to go to Bangkok Hospital, the heart hospital, to get the calcium scoring test. I felt the same
Right.
way. People were. I mean, I in Thailand, I have some of the best friends in the world. They're like brothers to me there, and that's why we spend a lot of time in Thailand. But
Right.
when they, but they were like encouraging me to go get this calcium test, heart test, where they put you in the machine and they scan your heart, and then they put all the data into a computer, and it spits out your heart health, based on their analysis. And I was a little bit. They talked me into it. I was a little bit afraid, to go do it because I'm overweight. I don't eat right. Uh, Drink too much coffee. Probably have a little bit too much, cocktail hour on occasion. And so I was really, really worried about it. But I kind of felt, even even though they weren't really, they didn't come across initially. They didn't come across. They just came across as a suggestion that you go do it. You get your health checkup and get the heart scan.
Right.
And they were showing me their test, and there was no reason not to do it because it was very, very inexpensive. But the whole thing is
Right.
is that if they did find something, then they would take care of it right then and there. So you had to have a little bit of money to be able to for them to at least put one or two stents in if they found a clogged artery or something like that. But I go in there and I have the test, and they
Right.
tell us to they tell us the cardiologist is going to review everything to come back in a couple of hours. They give us a couple places to go for lunch, and then when we return
Right.
back, I I see the cardiologist reviewing the case, reviewing all the data and stuff that they gather up, and then about, I would say, 30 or 45 minutes after that, he calls us into his office and he sits here and he goes, why are you in here? Why are you in here? It's very similar to the story that you're telling. He said, "Were you having chest pain? Were you having any of this stuff going on?" And I told him, "No, this was like the calcium heart challenge amongst myself and my friends." And so he goes, "Well, it looks like you may have won if it's a contest." I said, "What?" I said, "You have no, we found no cholesterol or calcium buildup except for this tiny speck that's located right here." And he showed me in the data where it was. And he said, "This will probably take about 20 years before it becomes a problem. So I think that this is the last time I'm probably going to see you in here." And then it gives you your heart age, your healthy heart age of
Right.
49. And so I hope that's a good sign that I have a long life in front of me. But again, maybe it's just me, but I just thought, you know, why did I feel the pressure to have to go do this? But then there really wasn't a reason why I shouldn't do it,
Right.
but I felt a little bit of pressure to go and get this thing done. And so I don't know. Again, that might have to do with me, something that goes way back when I was a small child. I probably need to talk to somebody about this, you know, because I'm thinking, so both those statements, where I was talking about the friend that sends me the email, the so-called
Yeah,
friend, right?
yeah.
Well, I used to leave work every day and think to myself, well, I hope so and so gets hit by a truck today. That sort of thing.
Gee.
Listen, Bruce, I have a long way to go, man, in terms of becoming a better human being, I'm working on myself. And then that
That, I mean,
that little bit of inferiority complex, that I suffer from. But anyway, that's what it
I
reminded
used
me
to
of when you talked about how great.
yeah, well,
One thing is when you come to the Philippines, when you cross over the airspace, you lose like 10 pounds. You know what I'm saying? In other words,
right,
you're so much more active going different places. That part of the benefit of being here, aside from the lack of contaminated food, but I don't know how long that's going to last. Because if
right,
you've been in the Metro Mart and you've seen the frozen food section, all your favorite brands are there, and so God only knows what's inside there, all that frozen food that they're bringing in from the states and other countries. But I mean, uh, but but if you stick to the homemade meals the way the Filipinos prepare them, you're gonna lose weight. You're gonna lose weight, and if
oh
you
yeah,
if you if you can keep up with them, you're
uh,
gonna be in a.
I can't keep up with them, but and that's not even what I'm even trying to do is keep up with them because that'd be the last thing I could do because they're all over the place here, there, and there,
Oh,
But
I know, just like
the
bees, busy bees
the
going
one
here,
thing
going there, going. Yeah, you're
the
absolutely right
wife
about that.
the wife does that, Um, again, that's just that's what they do. I again, even myself, like the only thing was like, well, I did go to the doctor there, and I had to go to the hospital once there, but literally they just said, like you can't like right now because I've got gastritis issues, so that's why I don't drink anymore. That's why it's not about that I couldn't. The problem is um, all it takes is one last beer you drink, and next thing you know, your guts going going into overdrive. But literally, the oil they use a lot of oil, and literally she was told flat out he cannot have oil. Do not give him oil. You can't do this. If you're gonna
Oh,
you're gonna give him
they
fish.
love.
Grill
Hey,
the damn thing.
oh my gosh, you know what? You're absolutely right about that. Why do they use so much of that seed oil here? So we went
I
out.
have no idea.
I have no idea why. So we went out to Save More, and I saw a gallon. So they have a small commercial section in a Save More that's here in Bye Bye, and we went out there, and I saw. I said, "Honey, look at this. There's a gallon of olive oil here." You know, and I said, "Olive oil is what we should be switching over to.
Yeah.
Get rid of the canola oil and all the seed oil. It's bad, bad, bad." So, so we scooped up a gallon of that, and we start. Of course, they, and so what I find out is they only cook my food in the olive oil. Yeah, in other words, if they know they're cooking a meal for me, right? They bust out the olive oil, but other than that, they're not using it, right? Because it's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard to break with tradition. What they're used to
It
doing. It's very difficult.
well,
That's
I
pretty
got lucky.
funny.
I got lucky because I mean, and they didn't. They said they didn't suggest me taking any oils, but they did say olive oil or coconut oil. So I got lucky with Judith because I told her we're having. I said if I catch you with this damn seed oil, any of my food, I said I'm going to shove it right down your throat, not mine. Because I literally and she wouldn't. And I couldn't believe this because that Dan's right. They literally will sit there and buy gallons of seed oil. They'll buy that
I don't know why.
until the
I don't know
cows come
why.
home.
I have no idea why. I have no idea why. It just boggles the mind. and
They
everything
tell
is
them not
you know
to do that.
the fried chicken, the Jollibee. You
Oh,
know.
why don't you just use lard? I mean, what's the? You might as well use lard, man. I mean, if you're gonna,
Well, I
if
asked somebody about that. How come you can't find lard on the shelf? Because you can't even find lard on the shelf in the Philippines. I've looked all over the place for it. You got you.
yeah,
What are you guys doing with the pig fat? What do you
yeah,
guys do with the
that's
pig fat?
something, right, right. Because like I wouldn't suggest anybody, eat like. Listen, the seed oil. I'll be honest with you, to everybody, anybody that's listening. Okay, that seed oil literally ate up my stomach and screwed up my stomach really bad. And the doctor said, you know, you might be wanting to use like vegetable oil, this and that kind of stuff. But the best thing that you should really be doing is really boiling your stuff, um, because it's like you're just going to continuously keep coming back here, and there's really nothing we can do for you except try to get you out of a little bit of pain. And if you're not eating correct, and they'll tell you this. They literally, I had two doctors. I had a male doctor and a woman doctor literally tell my wife, do not use that damn seed oil. And they're
Yay!
only they're only doing it because they're like, this is a foreigner that's not used to using seed oil. We don't use seed oil over here. I don't use seed oil. I used olive oil, or I used like coconut oil. That's what I've
But
used in
hey,
my lifetime.
What happened to lard? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know. I asked. I couldn't find. I listen. I spent 7 months over there. Couldn't find it. And I was looking and looking, and I asked my wife to get some, lard, and she's like, "Well, how about you buy it online?" I'm not going to go buy a bunch of lard online. Why can't we just go to the store and get it? Like, you know. So no, she went and we could have got. I never did, but I went to what was it? I think
CBGB,
Eston.
you're out of control, CBGB. You're out of control.
Yeah, you're way out of control.
You really are, dude. He's cracking me up. We got serious business we're talking about here.
Yeah, you need free samples at Costco, man. Yeah, that's right. You better go get your free samples. We don't need no damn free samples, man. You go get your free samples. Maybe you can buy a hot dog too. No, I'll tell you one thing. When I first started coming on, like I met CBGB and stuff, and people always said, "Oh, he's gonna mess with you. He's gonna trash you." That guy's never trashed you. That guy's always just been funny. The guy will say like things funny, but he's always treated me good. He's never treated me well, we could say other people, but I mean Dan knows. We've all dealt with it. He's dealt with it, I'm sure too. But it's funny when you have a guy like CBGB around and chat to liven it up, because otherwise it's like sometimes you go in some of these spaces and it's so serious. Like if you say something that's like I'll say something serious and I'll literally get cool. Like the people will be like, "What the hell are you saying that for?" I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all it is. Just having a good time.
I was
Nothing
just thinking we ought to next time we get with CBGB, we could order up an S&R pizza. That'll
right. We're gonna
there's
send you
something
our pizza.
there's something to remind us of home.
Right.
All right, guys. Hey, let's wrap it up. I'm getting.
All right.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Cool, man.
Thanks everybody for
Take care,
stopping by.
everybody.
It was fun. See everybody tomorrow. Bye bye.
Hey, good night to you, brother.